very happy that you have accepted our invitation for this family celebration. And I'm saying family because here we are with people that have primary health care at heart and makes its values and principles part of their life in every day. We are public health specialists and we are working for strengthening primary health care across the globe. We are not alone. We are a small community here, but we know that this agenda is a global agenda. And that's why I also welcome all the UN agencies that sister agencies of the United Nations and development partners to this family party as well. I know that all of us are working towards the sustainable development goal and universal health coverage. Primary health care is the platform, is the right platform to get this movement towards universal health coverage as it was 40 years ago. Today is exactly 40 years ago. The movement that was, this declaration that was a historical declaration that was signed in this city to the movement of health for all. And that equivalence also is brought into 40 years of values and spirit that have forged and marked this anniversary. So I would like to welcome our Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Alexei Soy, is here with us. We have the head of the Department of Almaty City, Dr. Mshina. We have Professor Sharmanov with us, who was the former Minister of Health of Kazakhstan, and he was the one working behind, not only behind the scenes to make this declaration be signed. We have our WHO representative to Kazakhstan, Dr. Chesnov. We have our host, rector of the university that hosts us, the Kazakh National Medical University, Professor Dargan Rujin. So many others of you that I would like to mention, but perhaps let me welcome you to this small unit. This is a small center. It's a European Center for Primary Health Care. It's a specialized unit of the Division of Health Systems. Our head office is in Copenhagen, but of course we work from there, but from here, located here in Kazakhstan, for all the member states of the European region. That is 53 member states that go, of course, from Kazakhstan and move up to Iceland and all the Spain, all the Mediterranean countries, Eastern Europe, and we cover around 900 million people with our work. This unit, maybe I move some of the slides. So first, who are here today represented is, as I mentioned, many of the partners, academia, Department of Health, Ministry of Health, but also the sisters UN agencies. This center was the agreement between our organization and the government of Kazakhstan was signed in 2014, and in 2015 we already inaugurated this center. As you can see already, Professor Sharmanov was there. That was a few years ago. Concretely, we started our work in 2016. In mid-2015, a group of us, among them my colleague Arnaldo Surguti and some others, were already seated here in Almaty, starting the office. In 2017, we were full-fledged, so the whole team, that is very small anyways, but 10 people working for 53 member states, so it's very demanding work, but we do it, as I said, because we share the values of primary health care that are still valid. So what we do in this small unit, we work on concrete areas around primary health care. care, or the primary healthcare approach. So we think to primary healthcare not as a level or first contact, but rather as an approach. That means to look at the interface with hospitals, at the interface and the alliance with public health. We look at how to better integrate primary healthcare with social care in order to really cope with all the needs that our populations have, not only from a health or a disease perspective, but of course looking and tackling the social and political determinants of health. That we also focus on few areas, particularly on chronicities, because it's the main burden for most of our countries, but so non-communicable diseases, but also on acuity. And that means on services that are provided to the population in case of acute need. We focus on inequities, and we do it particularly with a gender perspective. This year we hosted the wide consultation on men's health record that will be presented next week in Rome to the 53 member states of our region, and they will be approved a document that seeks to tackle health and the differential in health outcomes between men and women. We also focus on, of course, on universal health coverage, beyond primary health care, this platform towards achieving universal health coverage. So we work with many UN agencies, with some very close, in order to make the difference in the ground. So expanding those hours means, or giving access to primary health care from 6 to 8 in the morning, it means also less recovery, less admissions to hospital, or less emergency readmission. But we do this in many countries, and perhaps here I just flag some of them, but to be honest, we have many others that wouldn't fit into one slide. I just wanted to give some examples recently from this year. For example, we have been working here in Kazakhstan to assess the performance of primary health care. This is a pilot tools were developed, and now we are moving to other 3 countries, Norway, Montenegro, and Macedonia, to implement the tools that we developed here in Kazakhstan. We are supporting Romania to move forward, expanding community care as a model for primary health care. We are working in Ukraine since many years to support the reform, and particularly on primary health care. Last week we were in Belarus working on quality of care, and a good work done by my colleague Juludis on expanding the role of nurses with the doctors involved. And I could go on with Serbia, Kyrgyzstan also a few weeks ago we were there working also on quality of care. But we do this, and I invite you also to look around. There is a last room a little bit lost in the labyrinth here, but you will see some of the publications that we have. Recently, of course, we have published the reports, the assessments that we do in countries. We also have events, meetings that the proceedings that we share also with other countries. We have lately some roadmaps that we developed in consultation with member states, and not less important is this policy document that was adopted by all member states in 2016 that asked us to move to integrated services delivery from the perspective of primary health care. So how we operationalize this? We don't, being a small group, we need to partner with the universities. We have a few collaborating centers. We have a full network of experts and consultants that join us and discuss with us, sometimes online, sometimes they visited Kazakhstan. Of course, we do country work, so we work with countries hand by hand, and I think I'm very proud of this approach, because until a few years ago we will see only our work at policy level. Since 5 years, we do go to work, and we work at district levels with municipalities, with oblast department, with the ministries of health. We sit with them hand by hand, I would say elbow with elbow, in order to work together, to understand. That has been enriching for us, but makes our work relevant for the countries. And I think that is the key also of all this work that I'm presenting here to you today. We host placement for interns. We developed partnerships. In partnership, we developed further work and further evidence around the world. We have also, importantly, in all these events, just in average, we have 300 people from all the world visiting this small unit here. This lovely university has partnered with us, also offering their premises to host important events. From these 300 people, international hosts that we invite and visit us, we have calculated that at least 1/4, so that is 20%, they stay longer to visit Almaty and the surroundings. And we are also very proud of that, because we developed a package of tourism for them to go around, to go hiking, of course skiing in winter and so on. So I think these are some of the examples. Of course, we run the marathon in Almaty already. We have done it for 2 years, and this year we were with, of course, there as well. But today, the invitation was also to start the celebrations. And there are many events that are coming, and I wanted to share with you in order to have that oversight that it is important. I have received today tweets from many countries already starting the celebration. Italy has asked me this morning, can you say something for us as well? This morning we saw also published by the Minister Viktanov already a very interesting article where he describes all these steps and these values of Almata, from Almata up to the global conference that will take place on the 25th and 26th of October in Astana. And I don't want to talk too much about that, because I'm sure Deputy Minister Soy will go into details. We early this month, but also in October, we will repeat a training for media in order to better understand what primary health care is about, how do we tackle the needs of the population, how to understand statistics. And we are partnered here with the University, the Kazakh Medical University, to host CIS, Commonwealth Independent Countries meeting that we call it at the crossroads, so that we try to bridge between policy, research, and education and practice. This circle of good practices that we already can share with a large audience, and we will be here in this university hosting that event on the 23rd and 24th of October. On the 24th as well, there is another important event. I'm sure Dr. Musinov will talk about, is the Healthy City Network event that will be held here in Almaty in the Rixos Hotel. But as I said, all these elements are moving towards the main conference that will take place here in Astana on the 25th and 26th of October. Lastly, or not less important, also here in Almaty, we will have the discussion around the role of primary health care in tackling antimicrobial resistance, and wanted to share with you this special issue of Panorama. Panorama is the WHO regional office newsletter. It's a journal, it's a peer-reviewed journal that will be fully dedicated to primary health care, and where we will show the evidence that we have for those must-dos that any country strengthening primary health care should do in the future. So with this I would like to now to have to invite Dr. Musinov to address on behalf of the mayor of Almaty some words to us.
Уважаемые дамы и господа, уважаемые коллеги, позвольте от имени Акима города Алматы поздравить всех с 40-летним юбилеем Алма-Атинской Декларации Всемирной организации здравоохранения по первичной медико-санитарной помощи. С 1978 года весь мир принимает Алма-Атинскую декларацию как документ, который впервые превозносил неотъемлемое право человека на здоровье и показал пути его реализации.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear guests of the city of Almaty, on behalf of Akim of Almaty City, allow me to congratulate you on this event of commemorating the 40th Jubilee of Alma-Atинской Declaration of the World Health Organization related to PHC or primary healthcare. Since 1978, the entire world accepts Alma-Atинской Declaration as a document which was the first one to announce the integral right of the human being to health and indicated the ways for its implementation.
Мы очень гордимся, что такой важный документ принимался в нашем городе. Для нас Алма-Атинская декларация – это наследие, которое является важной частью истории города и постоянной приоритетности первичной медико-санитарной помощи в течение этих 40 лет.
And we are so proud that this important document was accepted in the city of Almaty, in our city. For us, the Almaty Declaration is the heritage, which is an important part of the city history and the continuous priority of PHC for the last 40 years.
Наш город за 40 лет тоже изменился. В городе обеспечена положительная динамика социально-экономического развития.
The city has changed as well over these 40 years, and a positive dynamic for the social economic development has been maintained.
В Алматы есть все предпосылки стать интеллектуальным и культурным лидером Центральной Азии, региональным городом, магнитом с высоким качеством жизни.
Almaty does have all the grounds in order to become intellectual and cultural leader of the Central Asia regional city and a magnet with high quality of life.
По прогнозам экспертов, в 2035 году в городе Алматы численность населения составит 3 миллиона человек.
According to the estimation of the expert, by the year 2035, the size of the population of Almaty city will comprise over 3 million people.
То есть при росте экономически активного населения в 700 тысяч человек необходимо обеспечить рабочими местами в различных секторах экономики, в том числе в IT, в образовании и здравоохранении.
Considering that the growth of economic active population by 700,000 people, it will be necessary to ensure the employment for these people in the sectors of health, education, IT, engineering, high-tech, industry, art and tourism.
Для этого должна быть создана комфортная экологическая среда, обеспечена высокое качество и образования, и здравоохранения, по примеру стран ОСР.
To this effect, the comfortable ecological environment should be created in order to ensure high quality of healthcare following the former Soviet Union model.
По проекту «Город для людей» в течение 2 лет комплексно модернизировано более 60% исторического центра нашего города.
Under the framework of the project The City for the People, over the last 2 years, the 60% of the historical center of the city of Almaty has been modernized or updated.
Для повышения мобильности и улучшения экологии в городе создаются условия для общественного транспорта, пешеходов, велосипедистов и электрических самокатов. Развивается все виды скоростного транспорта, метро, БРТ и планируется рейсы ЛРТ.
To provide mobility and improvement of ecological environment in the city, the conditions are being created for public transportation, pedestrian bicycles and electrical bicycles.
Уже сегодня 55% казахстанских туристов выбирают Алматы как город для места туризма, лечения и различных развлечений и отдыха.
Right now, or nowadays, about 55% of the tourists select to choose Almaty as the city for tourism and leisure.
Мы гордимся своим назначением как городом здоровья и предпринимаем конкретные шаги к этому в подходе к первичной медико-санитарной помощи и большое внимание уделяем приближению услуг здравоохранения населения.
We are proud that the city of Almaty has been assigned the title of the healthy city, and we do all our best, and specific steps are taken in order to apply the approach of primary health care in life.
Несколько цифр скажу, коллеги. В результате принятых мер время обслуживания пациентов сократилось на 20%, ожидание в очереди на 30% и 2 раза записи пациента к врачу и 1,5 раза вызов врачей на дом.
Dear colleagues, I would like to share some of the statistical data with you related to this applying of PHC approach, which include, through the reforms, the time of serving the patient has been reduced by 20%, and the lines or the time spent in lines has been decreased by 30%. And the appointment with doctors has been decreased by 1.5% times.
Сегодня более 91% прикрепленного населения обеспечены электронными паспортами, и до конца текущего года мы совместно с Министерством здравоохранения перейдем на полностью безбумажный документооборот.
And over 90% of the population, actually of the enrolled population, has been issued the electronic passport. And it is our plan that by the end of the year, we will fully move or shift to the paper-free system.
Сегодняшнее празднование 40-летнего юбилея Алма-Атинской Декларации по первичной медико-санитарной помощи очень символично.
Today's celebration of the 40th jubilee anniversary of the Alma-Atинской Declaration is very symbolic.
Оно дает старт для большой череды, как уже было сказано, мероприятий глобального уровня, приуроченных к празднованию юбилея. Это саммит мэров городов, здоровых городов, который пройдет 23 и 24 октября текущего года.
It launches a series of events at the global level, including the celebration or commemoration of the Jubilee and Summit of Mayors of Healthy Cities, which will take place on the 23rd of October.
И мы очень гордимся, что данное мероприятие будет проходить здесь и будет принята соответствующая декларация мэров городов мира.
And we are so proud that this event will occur here and we'll be able to sign the declaration of the mayors of healthy cities right here.
И, как известно, 40-летие ООН также будет проходить в нашем городе 24 числа, и акимат города готовит подарок к данному юбилею в виде расположения хабов.
And actually, the 40th anniversary of UN also will be celebrated here, and the Akinat, or the Governor's Office of the City of Almaty, is ready with this present, which will be granted or which will be given on this day.
Надеюсь, все запланированные мероприятия пройдут успешно, и наши гости будут помнить значение, важность первичной медико-санитарной помощи для достижения прогресса.
I do hope that these events planned will be successfully implemented, and all our guests and donors will remember the values and the significance and importance of BHC for their progress.
Пользуясь случаем, позвольте от имени акима города пригласить всех вас на заседание саммита мэров здоровых городов 23 числа и пожелать всем присутствующим здоровья, процветания и мира. Спасибо.
Taking this opportunity, On behalf of the mayors of the Almaty city, I would like to invite you to the summit of ministers event or meeting, which will take place on the 21st of October, and so that you are all welcome.
We have now a short video that we want to share, greetings from our regional director, Zhizhana Jaka, who wanted to be present also in this moment.
Welcome to the WHO Regional Office for Europe's Center for Excellence on Primary Health Care. I apologize I am not able to join you in person on this special occasion, but I'm honored to address you on this historical day. Today, exactly 40 years ago, delegates from 134 governments adopted the Declaration of Alma-Atинskoye. It launched a primary healthcare approach as the route to health for all. It revolutionized the way health was interpreted, and ultimately it radically alerted models for organizing and delivering services. To this, I say, happy 40th birthday, primary health care. The Declaration of Alma-Ata undoubtedly got it right on many fronts. It recognized the role of health systems in realizing a primary health care approach. It stated the importance of a skilled health workforce, the need for coordination with other sectors, and community participation. Over the past 40 years, we have deepened our understanding of what it takes to put a primary health approach into practice. The processes stewards of our health systems can activate, the means for ensuring not only a competent workforce, but also quality across our health systems, the contents of essential services and their range across the life course, and strategies for what it takes to work across sectors, empower communities, and engage patients. After 40 years, we are rich with experience and evidence that continuously affirms the importance of primary health care. We know that primary health care improves health outcomes, patient adherence to treatment, and satisfaction, while also decreasing unnecessary referrals and diagnostic tests. After 40 years, our world is also an entirely different place. Non-communicable diseases are the greatest burden of disease. The state of our environment, the scale of our cities, extent of migration, power of medicines and technologies has changed beyond the imaginable. Nonetheless, a primary healthcare approach remains both valid and needed in ways that respond to these changes and continues to evolve our models of care with the times. Our governments have recognized these changes and responded in setting more ambitious targets for services that are not only universally accessible, but also of quality and equity as put forward in the Sustainable Development Goals. For this, primary health care has an essential role to play. Ladies and gentlemen, primary health care will always have Almaty as its birthplace. And through our center, made possible by the support of the government of Kazakhstan, it is also its home. I am pleased again to welcome you to meet our dedicated team at the WHO European Center for Primary Health Care and hear about our work to support countries in realizing their policy goals. Dear local colleagues, partners, health cannot be attained by the health sector alone. Your presence here today is a testament of our common objectives. We must continue to find ways to stretch organizational boundaries and lead by example on cross-sector action. I hope your conversations today, ongoing and future joint work continues to accelerate intersectoral action locally and across the region. I look forward to seeing many of you at the Global Conference on Primary Healthcare in Astana this October. I close with my compliments to Kazakhstan for maintaining its unwavering commitment to a primary healthcare approach and its prioritization of this across the European region, as well as leadership on a global scale. And once again, a happy 40th birthday to primary healthcare. I wish for continued progress in our common pursuit of health for all, and ultimately, its attainment.
Thank you, and now I invite our Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Alma-Atинской, to address the audience.
Десерт, дорогие друзья, dear guests, on behalf of the Ministry of Healthcare of Kazakhstan, I sincerely congratulate you all with the birthday and the 40th anniversary of the Alma-Atинской Declaration on Primary Healthcare. For 40 years, the state of health in the world has improved as the data shows, thanks to joint global efforts led by the World Health Organization and countries around the world. And the strength and health system is defined by its primary health care. Kazakhstan is proud to be the birthplace of the famous Alma-Atинской Declaration that entires the textbooks of all medical schools around the world. This declaration guided and served the world in building national health system until now. 4 years later, our country again confirms its commitment to health for all people by hosting the global conference on primary health care this fall in our new capital, Astana, co-organized by the WHO and UNICEF. A strong case for supporting and investing into the primary health care remains as vital as 40 years ago when Alma-Atинской Declaration was adopted. By having a resilient, people-centered primary health care, a country can meet majority of its citizens' health needs throughout most of their lifespans. Commemorating the core principles of Alma-Atинской Declaration, we are excited to approve and adopt a new declaration on primary health care in October to have a much-needed guidance to the future of primary health care. I am honored to invite you to the Global Conference on Primary Health Care to be held on October 25th and 26th, and invite you to discuss the role and opportunities of primary health care in the 21st century. I congratulate everyone for commitment to primary health care on the way to achieve the health for all, and wish a happy birthday to this landmark declaration. Thank you for attention.
Thank you very much. Now we will have the words of the WHO representative to Kazakhstan, Dr. Chesnov, and we will have a small announcement we will explain.
Thank you very much, friends. I have only 2 hands, but for birthday, in your speech you said happy birthday, and birthday without cake is not birthday. Birthday without guest is also not birthday, and we have also a present, which is usually for birthday we bring our best to our best friends прибавляет каждый день. Сейчас 40 лет и достаточно. Я надеюсь, что это будет в Акимате находиться, решить везде. Но каждый раз мы можем по одной медали привозить. Поэтому я вам получаю вот это состояние. И, кстати, эмблема, когда была на конференции, русская. Поэтому
Я скоро передам Акиму города, и, конечно же, отмечать юбилей нашей декларации. И надеюсь, что пришедший матч, что мы с нами будет присутствовать и
actually, my role is over because my role was done actually really quite comprehensive speech. For myself, I want to add that in my life, Alma-Atинской Declaration played a very important role in my personal life. And if somebody from you asks me what is the three most highest achievement of WHO, and I can tell you that number one is eradication of smallpox, because it was huge achievement of WHO. It's Alma-Atинской Declaration and Tobacco Convention. This is we do a lot of the positive daily job. We do hundreds of successful projects. But this is the Alma-Atинской Declaration, changed our life because before it was mainly relation between patient and doctor, physician, like between customer and tailor, and mainly it was private. But in Almaty, this first time was decided that the government take responsibility and guarantee health service to the population. The majority of the country, after Almaty, joined to this movement. And thank you very much, previous generation, which delivers this excellent declaration. If somebody reads this declaration recently, it looks that it is written just yesterday. It's absolutely clever and far-vision document. Thank you very much, and once more, happy birthday, Almata, happy birthday, you, all of you, Akimat, Minister, and I think this is a message also from Director General Tedros, will be also addressed in Astana. And welcome to Astana. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. We have now a moment of meeting the history now. So I will invite Deputy Minister Soy to come closer to the cake, and also Professor Sharmanov. So we will cut the cake.
Давайте вот здесь. Так. Чтобы один был.
Big portions. Very good.
Уважаемые друзья,
Dear friends,
мне, естественно, есть основания волноваться. Потому что эта конференция по решению правительства Советского Союза Москвы должна была проводиться в Ташкенте.
I have all the grounds to be excited because
Это резон, потому что Ташкент позиционировал тогда в Советском Союзе как главный город центральноазиатских стран.
actually the conference was supposed to take place in Tashkent or in Uzbekistan by the decision of the Minister of Health.
Тогда министр.
At that time I was the Minister of Health.
Я вообще-то, моя если можно сказать так, опереться на честь достоинства нации, я был чрезвычайно амбициозным.
And it was quite offensive, being focusing on the dignity of the nation.
Такую конференцию провести Ташкент, чтобы Ташкентские декларации назвалась.
So I didn't want this conference to take place in Tashkent, so it has the title of Tashkent Declaration, of course.
Советское правительство, несмотря на просьбу ходатайства тогдашнего первого секретаря члена Политбюро Кунаева, Брежнев не смог от Ташкента отобрать на Алмату. И тогда пустил на соревнования по 2 дня. Ташкент, Алмата, Тбилиси, Баку, Новосибирск.
There was a competition within all the city for the order to host the conference, but the Soviet Union wanted to have it in Tashkent.
Ташкент проваливал.
But Tashkent
Сняли
failed.
Ташкент не от кого-либо, именно Алматы. Нам оставили в один день показать достоинство Алматы, что именно в Алмате должны провести.
And it was quite a challenge for Kazakhstan to show that it would be able to host this conference within 1
Женева
day.
принимает решение после нашей демонстрации в один день. Ташкент по 2 дня Ташкенту
The decision was made. And Tashkent was given 3 days to show the capacity to host.
Ничего места для проведения конференции, чем Алмата.
But then the decision was made to have it in Almaty because there is no other place like that.
В равноправных сражениях.
So that was the hard
Значит,
competition.
Алма-Атинская конференция прошла
And as you know, Almaty
чрезвычайным
conference
успехом.
was implemented with
Что
triumph.
во главе этого министерства немало усилий, тяжелейший труд и доказали достоинство Алматы, что именно можно рассказать, мы рассказали, показали и доказали, что первичная медицинская помощь, как помощь, необходима, например, для всемирного масштаба. Вы что думаете? Заключительный день конференции.
On the final day of the conference,
Зачитывала Алма-Атинскую декларацию
Alma-Ata
молодая
Declaration
врач
announced
из
by
отдела
a
9.
young physician from
Я хорошо помню.
looking like Angela Davis. I do remember her quite well.
Плакали,
The delegates were crying, and they were standing applauding
мне живете передо мной.
her, and I still remember her face.
Я горжусь,
I'm very proud.
что имел возможность, имел счастье
I
сражение
and have the opportunity to fight for this cause, for the honor
Я
of
счастлив,
justice,
что Алмата
and I'm happy
имела доказать
that Almaty managed to prove
исключительно, если можно, на высоком уровне проведения.
exclusive efforts to host this
Что
conference
я
at
не
a high
состоял,
level.
работал, чтобы конференция прошла успешно.
Not just the first conference, but
Я счастлив, что
having
живу
conducted the
и
very
встречаю 40-летней Алма-Атинской декларации.
I'm happy that
Я себе ничего не
that
присваиваю,
I'm commemorating this
но
40th
просто
anniversary.
элементарную причастность.
Found
Во-первых, именно то, что Алмата завоевала, я в чем-то играл ключевую роль. Об этом мировые лидеры здравоохранения писали. Проведение Алма-Атинской декларации ключевую роль играла Алмата, именно моя фамилия.
Pointed out that actually
Правда.
the Alma-Ata
Чистейшая правда.
Declaration,
Я сегодня не говорю, что, во-первых, говорю, но я говорю, что именно
I'm
Алмата
just
завоевала.
proud that Alma-Ata won
И
this
называется
right
историками 40-летия, которые отвечают 50-летию,
in the history.
когда говорили,
We have the Alma-Ata Declaration.
значение этой конференции на десятилетие.
We were saying that the significance was last for.
Мне 88 лет,
I am at the age of 88.
счастлив, что ведя 50-летие, 60-летие, неверную слава Алма-Атинской
That we will
декларации
celebrate this anniversary and we will celebrate 50th and 60th anniversary. That will be even more.
Я благодарен вам, что я имею возможность перед вами выступить.
I'm happy that I have the honor to
Что Алма-Атинская
provide this
конференция
welcome
до сих
speech.
пор,
And I'm happy that the Alma-Ata Declaration is still regarded and considered as a very important event at the global level.
qualified. Now the toast for the birthday. So the rector, our rector, Professor Tarkat Nguji, to address also this audience.
Thank you very much, Juan Mejada. Құрметті әріптестер, бүгін сіздер өздеріңіз білесіздер, қазақ елінде өте қуаныш. Алматы халықаралық декларациясының 40 жылдығы тойланып жатыр. Бүгін 12 сентябрь осы Алматы қаласында 1977 жылы осы декларацияны қабылдаудың соңғы күні болғаны сіздерге өздеріңізге мәлім.
Dear colleagues and guests,
Я не смогу на русском, на английском перевести. Самое главное не поделиться. Сондықтан сіздерді осы үлкен мерекемен құттықтаймын. Бұл дүниежүзілік денсаулық сақтау ұйымының және дүниежүзілік балдар қорғау сақтауының ұйымының үлкен үлесі деп ойлаймын. Оның мен қатар біздің елімізде сол кезде министр болған профессор Төрегелді Шармановтың үлкен еңбегі біздің қазақ елі үшін үлкен бір толық қуаныш деп ойлаймын. Құрметті әріптестер, осы 40 жылдық той біздің университеттің әулетінде тойланып жатқаны біз үшін өте қуаныш. Сондықтан мен бүгінгі мерекені өзіміздің мерекемен ұштас деп ойлаймын. Алматы декларациясының салынған, Алматы декларациясында жазылған негізгі барлық адамға бірдей денсаулық, бұл негізгі сараптама. Адам баласы осы жер планетасында өмірі біткенше ең үлкен ұран болатыны белгілі. Сондықтан осы бүгінгі күн мерекесімен сіздерді құттықтап, өздеріңіздің алға қойған денсаулық саласындағы үлкен мақсаттарыңызға жете беруіне тілектеспін. Dear ladies and gentlemen and dear colleagues, I'm glad to be invited to celebrate of the 40th birthday party Primary Health Care. As you know, 40 years ago, this day was the final day of the global WHO UNICEF conference held here in Almaty. The conference was very important milestone in development of the healthcare system in the world. Everyone in Kazakhstan and outside of the country who is working in the healthcare law in Alma-Atинской Declaration on primary healthcare accepted in the conference. The declaration was named Health for All. I believe all statements of the declaration are still very substantial and haven't lost relevance. I'm glad to know that we have on our board person who made great contribution to organization in conducting the conference. Honorary Professor, our university, Professor Төрегелді Шарманов, hosted the conference as Minister of Health, Kazakh Soviet Republic. He had and has global vision of the health development, and I would like to pay tribute to him. I'm glad to be informed that after the 40 years, the next global conference will be held in our country, in our new capital Astana, we accepted that more than 1,000 delegates coming from the most countries of the world. We hope that new primary healthcare declaration, Astana Declaration, will have the same impact of the Almaty Declaration. And last but not least, we recognize the great importance for primary healthcare. It was, we have provided space and facility for WHO, European Center for Primary Healthcare. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. Уважаемые коллеги, я хочу от имени Казахского национального медицинского университета имени Асфендиярова поздравить вас с 40-летием Алма-Атинской декларации. Сегодня прекрасный день не только для казахстанцев, но и для всего мира, кто сопричастен первичной медико-санитарной помощью и кто работает в медицине. Для них это великая честь исполнять Алма-Атинскую хартию и внедрять его в каждой стране. Вы прекрасно знаете, что Казахстан стремится быть частью всего мира и быть новой современностью для всех стран. И поэтому я хочу вас поздравить с 40-летним юбилеем, а также подчеркнуть роль нашего великого патриарха профессора Тойгача Чарманча и сказать, что мы очень горды, что офис по ПМСП находится в наших стенах и в нашем университете. И мы горды, что тем мы делимся одним офисом по первичной санитарной помощи. И поэтому сегодняшний день я от имени нашего университета хочу поблагодарить именно офиса по первичной санитарной помощи и доктора Хуана Телла с 40-летним юбилеем и празднованием Алма-Атинской декларации в наших стенах. Поздравляю вас!
Thank you very much. We conclude here before the cake and the champagne or the cidra that we have around. I want to share with you an avant-premiere before the real show, some small short video of Professor Benedictov that probably will remind us some beautiful moments of 40 years ago.
Дорогие коллеги, 40 лет назад, в сентябре 1978 года, в городе Алматы, тогда столице Казахстана, состоялась международная конференция по первичной медико-санитарной помощи, которая суждено было сыграть важную роль в развитии здравоохранения и международного сотрудничества. Мне довелось участвовать в подготовке этой конференции от имени исполкома ВОЗ и Минздрава СССР при поддержке Хавдана Мария и Бориса Васильевича Петровского. Большую работу проводили Тыхада Деревера, министр здравоохранения Казахстана Турадик Шарманов и другие. Представители более 150 стран из всех регионов мира приехали до конференции вскрыть множество проблем и нацелившись на главное, что делать дальше. Первичная медико-санитарная помощь была определена как зона первого контакта между человеком, семьей, общиной и общей системой здравоохранения. Спустя 40 лет мы снова задумываемся, почему Алма-Атинская конференция оставила такой след в развитии здравоохранения и международного сотрудничества. Ответ один. Конференция затронула системные проблемы и наметила пути их решения. Она показала, что для полноценной защиты жизни и здоровья каждого человека и населения в целом необходимо сочетание усилий индивидуумов и общества. Эти представления, отраженные в итоговой декларации Алма-Атинской конференции, сохранили свое значение и сегодня. Их значение не уменьшится и будет. Собравшимся в этом зале предстоит осмыслить тенденции и новые призывы 21 века, предложить обновленные подходы в развитии системы здравоохранения на последующие годы. Это большая ответственность и редкий шанс. Желаю вам плодотворных дискуссий и исторических решений. Желаю вам успеха.
Thank you. We arrived to the moment of the cake, so I invite you. There are some liquids there to drink, and we will cut the cake. Then you can go around, like I mentioned at the end to the right. There are some publications and more information about the center. Thank you very much, and I hope to dialogue with you later.